Welcome back to Side Dish. Now, a lot of times in the world of entertainment, you may have the talent, but you don't have all the people around you to make your dreams come true. And our guest is a person who has 50 plus years in the entertainment industry. He's the author of 3 best-selling books. Ladies and gentlemen, Angelo Ellerbee is in the building. How you doing, my brother?
Welcome. Man, I'm blessed.
Welcome to Side Dish.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Man, you worked with a little bit of everybody. I mean, like, you know, names that people may have heard of, like, I don't know, Michael Jackson, Dionne Warwick, Roberta Flack, Mary J. Blige, Alicia Keys, and more. And kind of like a ghost in the machine, like a person who's making things happen behind the scenes, just being low profile with it. But these are some of the biggest names in music, man.
You know, man, I've been very, very fortunate. I got an internship with the 2-time Grammy Award winner, James Mtume.
Okay.
My degree is in designs, clothing designs. His wife is a designer. I was working with her. He came to me one day and he said, "We ain't gonna leave this mess alone and come and do some real stuff." I was like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "It's music. I want you to manage me." I said, "Man, I don't know nothing about management." He said, "I think it's time for you to learn something." I went and I interned for Mtume for 5 years as an intern. Man, he was right on it every single day. What you didn't know, he taught you. He sent me over to Sony. I went into those meetings, man, deaf, dumb, and blind, just stupid. I didn't know nothing. But each and every single time he sent me there, I learned something. Then you went back into his living room and you had to tell him everything that took place. And he would teach you about publishing, teach you about royalties, what the percentages would be. So that's my beginning. I began in the basement of Mtume's house.
Wow. And for those who don't know, Mtume, we are talking about the same one who's part of the group that made Juicy Fruit.
Yeah. The writer, you know, everybody always thinks of Mtume for the one song, Juicy Fruit. But he's an accomplished writer. He did everything for Stephanie Mills. He wrote Roberta Flack for Phyllis Hyman. The list is continuing.
Music supervisor on New York Undercover as well. Yeah, like
exactly.
I mean, like I was a big fan of that show. I'd watch it every time I come on.
Exactly, yes, man. So yeah, I was honored to be a part of his life. I continue to support Mtume's endeavors. There's an Mtume Foundation that I head along with his daughters and sons. Man, it's about, my life is about giving back.
Yes, sir.
We got to give back, man. And particularly in a community, they always say to me that it took a village to raise a child. And I ask, what does it take to raise a culture? What does it take to raise a culture in a community? It takes unified efforts. It takes us supporting one another. And that's why this book is so important to me, because it's ownership. It is, before I let you go, I want to leave you with something. I want to leave you, and so, and guess what? I don't want people to go buy in this book thinking this, I'm giving you the tools to the music industry. This is not what this book is about. I'm sure my publisher is going to kill me. But at the end of the day, man, it's about those people who don't get a chance. You know, we're talking about the incarcerated. We're talking about the HIV and AIDS. We're talking about the domestic violent individual. These are people who don't get chances because we close the door as being judgmental people.
Yeah.
I don't want to judge nobody. I don't have the right to judge nobody. God has that right, not me. So why can't we give these people a chance? Particularly now that we're talking about a president that we've given a chance to with regards to his involvement in it.
I'm curious if you could talk, you said your education was in fashion, and then you interned and learned about the music industry. Now, now you're also an accomplished author. What was the moment that you knew that you had to write before I let you go?
When this year's election took place.
Yeah.
When they started to rival and not have an understanding of the give backs and the givings of Americans. I thought that if anything ever happened to me, I had to make sure that I was able to contribute something back. And so when I sat back to write this book, yeah, it's gonna be a template of my life. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about the 90,000 people that's come across my door, but I wanted to have a purpose. And the purpose was teaching people. Yeah, I tell you what I did with Mary J. Blige. All of these people that I worked with, man, they had their trials, they had their tribulations, and we walked it through. We sat down, I educated them about simple things like reading and writing. Now, I would sit back, my reading test was them reading to me, and I found out that they really couldn't read. still in this day and time.
Is that a lot more common than you would
Oh man,
imagine?
it's still today in time, in this day and time, people are not being able to read or write. It's serious. So what happens when you go to sign your contract? How did you sign your contract, man, if you can't read this book to me? And that's what they get them at.
That makes a lot of sense. Because, I mean, even people that can't read don't understand that archaic language that they throw in a lot of these contracts.
Exactly. And people get very upset at me when I say to them, I can't celebrate 50 years of hip hop. They said, why not, Angelo? Rappers are still being starved. They're still starved.
Yeah.
They're on street corners. Some of them die broke. I can't celebrate until everybody gets it. That's real.
I think Nas said it really eloquently. He said, picture my peeps not eating makes my heartbeat skip. And like your food don't taste right if everybody can't eat the same.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm with you 100% on
And
that.
I tell people all the time, man, when you pour into other people, eventually it'll be time for people to pour back into you. And I know a lot of times the entertainment game is a very thankless business. So I just want to just commend you,
Thank you,
for taking time out of your life to pour into others
Thank you.
and create opportunities for others to do their thing, not just on the business side, but from a humanism standpoint as well.
I appreciate it.
Like, who was the person that I guess inspired you to start walking in this particular path?
Well, man, I got to first say that it's my mother. My mother had an 8th grade education. She was a waitress, but you thought she had a degree. She had 4 years of just the best education in the world. She gave me survival skills. She gave me the ability to be who I am and wanted to be original in my life. She spoke to me and always told me that you're great because you're my child. But I want you to be greater, and then I want you to be the greatest. That's what I work towards. And I think it's all about a give back. My mom had 6 children. And she said, okay, anybody sitting at this table, you got to contribute. And she meant financially. You was not just going to sit there. And I didn't understand it when I was growing up. She was giving out survival skills. She was telling me how to survive. She nourished me to understand about selfishness and the freedom of giving and loving. She said, before you think you loving somebody, I want you to take out some time, young man, and learn to love yourself. She said, start with you. How you gonna love somebody else, help somebody else, if you can't help yourself and love yourself?
That's real.
And so my mother has been, oh my God, my ingredients to my life. My mother's intuition and teaching has brought me houses and cars and all the other kinds of things. And I never went to school for this. This is something that was given to me and something that I inspired. I created based on Berry Gordy. He created an artist development program. Back in the 50s and the 60s, they used to call our music beach music. It was only being played on black radio stations. So his problem was, and his worry was, how can I make my music a global sound? So he said, I must emulate what they're doing in the mainstream markets. So I want the Supremes to go through a development. New dresses, new hair, new clothes, somebody teach them how to walk, speak, speech, diction, mannerisms. Same thing, I want Smokey and the Miracles. And so I created this 24-week artist development program that Mary J. Blige went through, that Alicia Keys went through. Even you guys will not believe it, even DMX went through it.
I believe it. I used to work for Def Jam.
And I managed him for like 5 or 6 years of my career. But man, I just think that it's just really important to pour into your community.
Yeah.
And when you think they're less important, find them to be important to you. It ain't, the publicity, okay, let's take the time to understand what publicity is about. It's not about social media. That ain't nobody's publicity.
It comes and goes.
It comes and it goes. It's just like Andy Warhol said, everybody was a star for 15 minutes. And he never said, what happens after the 15 minutes, right?
Right.
So my thing is to teach them and educate them, give some kind of stimulation to understand the importance of their business. Do their business. Pay your taxes. That's where all the entrapment comes with us. We don't pay our taxes, and we allow someone else to oversee, supervise, and or manage our career. Don't nobody manage my checks. Don't nobody handle my account. And I teach that. because everybody becomes accusatory when the money is gone.
Right.
But so if you don't ask the question why you got the money, then the money is gone. And locking somebody up in jail is doing what?
Just hurting their family in the
Right.
long scope of things.
Separating them from their money.
That's about it, right? You put them in jail, but you don't get your money back.
Yeah.
So what happens?
I'm so interested. You said you developed a 24-week, call it celebrity training.
Yeah, it's artist development.
Artist development
program. Yeah.
What would perhaps be the top 3 takeaways that you were hoping these people would get from this program?
I would have to start with interview techniques, diction, speech. I would talk about the importance of table manners. That's really important when you're orchestrating your career. You know, people don't take table manners seriously. I happen to. I can judge you on how you sit at a table, what fork you pick up, how you put your face in the bowl while you're eating, while you're taking your knife. All of these things. If I was a CEO of a company and I take you out for dinner and you have no mannerisms, I bring my wife with me, and you don't get up out the chair, you just sit there and man, it's
Right.
certain things that I think should still be in play.
Yeah.
And it's not in play. They have record development. They don't have artist development.
And you see it. Like, you know, we interview a lot of these new people, you could tell who's been through some sort of development or, you know, media training versus the ones who haven't. And it's night and day.
It is totally night and day. The thing that I happen to love the most is when the parents get involved. But they get involved to a point. I don't like them taking on the positions of managers until they know how to manage, right?
Right.
But what you can do for your child is teaching them the things that you need to teach them, like manners. You know, I think that everyone is merely actors and actresses. Each day we get a different script, right? Is that not what life is about?
Sure.
You get a different script every day. Teach them the script of life. Teach them how to speak, how to introduce themselves, then how to take care of their money.
Angelo, you're so fascinating because here you're talking about how you would sort of help someone to like organize themselves, their thoughts, and how they present themselves, right? In like artist development. But people also refer to you as a history maker, and because of some of your works have wound up in the Library of Congress.
Yeah.
That's almost an entirely different kind of gift to create on that level. That's not necessarily artist management. That's like your own sort of thing. And
Well, you know what happens is that the behind the scenes person is really behind the scenes. And here in the last year, I've been very blessed. And people from higher ups, I guess we would say, are getting you a chance to see what it takes to be behind the scenes. So I've gotten great accolades over the years, and particularly this year, it's been a great year for me. Artists will come and go. I'm the only thing that remains. And if I don't pour into me, I can't pour into you.
Big facts.
And that's what I've got to. I've got to the importance of me. Self-preservation,
Sure.
right? If we don't take care of ourselves, who's going to take care of us?
So we got about 90 seconds left, and there's so much to dive into. Most people will not have the opportunity to be in the same breathing space as a person like Michael Jackson. Same thing with like a Dionne Warwick, who is also another just iconic individual. Who are the people that you've worked with when, as soon as they walk into a room, you just knew that they were special? Like some people just have an aura or a frequency about themselves that you just know that they're the real deal. Who did that for you?
Dionne Warwick.
Really?
I've been working with Dionne now some 38 years. And it's magic. We understand what business is between us. And we also have a friendship.
That's cool.
She lays down the law to me. I listen to her laying down the law to me. It's called experience. I'm not being spanked. I'm learning.
Right.
And so if she can still teach me, I still want to learn from her. And the greatest thing that she has taught me over the many years is that check your account 3 times a day. And I go, what do you mean, Ms. Warwick? She said, I said, check your account 3 times a day. Who you know? You think everybody? Yes, Ms. Warwick, I understand. Check your account every day. I want you to check it at 11 o'clock. I want you to check it at 3 and check it at 5. Make sure your money is still there.
You never heard about her having money problems either.
That's true. I'm gonna hold this book up here so everybody can see it. Angelo, for anyone who's watching right now and perhaps they're not familiar with the work, where can they find out more about you? Where can they get this book? Where can they follow you on socials or websites?
Sure. So social is at DXXNYC. This book is bestseller on Amazon. They can go to Amazon for it. And I'm at Double Exposure. My website, they can just go to Double Exposure NYC.
DoubleExposureNYC.com.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's more information about the book there and your life and some of your great accomplishments.
Thanks, man. Thank you both.
Thank you
I
for what
appreciate
you're
the
doing,
both,
man.
Thank you so
No,
much.
it's a pleasure.
Much
I
love
really-
and continue to pour to people, and the world needs to pour into you. Angelo Ellerbee, thank you for pulling up on us, and happy Black History Month as
Same
well.
to you,
man.
brother. Thank
Bless
you.
up.
Thank you both.